Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video breakdown, we're going to be getting into this Global Outlook 2020 for a Bitcoin Swiss in-depth industry insight into markets, technology, and regulation, showing you all some forward-looking insights as we head into 2024 and wrap the year of 2023 up. If you all enjoy these deep video breakdowns, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We do appreciate the love and the support. Shout out to the CYPRX researchers. We are going to be covering some projections of the cryptocurrency market cap as we head into 2024, when the potential top of the next bull market cycle could possibly be. We're going to be getting into some crazy projections via the trillion-dollar market cap that we are set to experience, institutional adoption, and things of that nature. Now, I was going to get into a little bit of an in-depth breakdown explaining the macro perspective for you all. Here, it pretty much talks about how there's two likely scenarios ahead, both lead towards economic turmoil in the short term in Q1 and Q2. However, that's not set to be, looked upon as a bad thing as a risk asset investor, because we know that once economic weakness materializes and the markets witness steep short-term corrections, rates will be cut substantially, marking the beginning of a new easing cycle and signal a new rally across all risk assets fueled by increased liquidity. So it talks about how the market liquidity is still dried up as of right now, still a little bit tight. Global central banks all over the world are still in a tightening cycle, and that after the potential of a recession or a bad economic event taking place, liquidity and easing will start to come into effect. And obviously, of course, we will most likely see risk assets benefits from a substantial amount of liquidity being pumped back into the system. So you can see right here, it says we see increased liquidity in assets in financial markets around mid-2024, which will boost risk asset prices and close the liquidity jaw gradually. Here it says the crypto market is the most sensitive to liquidity, so once liquidity conditions ease, it will rally first and the most substantial of all risk assets. This will fuel the early bull market stage even further. So I'm going to save time. I'm not going to read through these paragraphs right now. But again, if anybody wants access to this type of research, shout out to the CYPRX researchers. This type of information is dropped in our private Discord all the time. Hundreds of fundamental documents, hundreds of video breakdowns that never make it to the mainstream. Now, I do want to scroll down here, and this is where I want to start first. I want to start to talk about the just insane potential that we are set to experience and the amount of money that is about to flood into this space. So here it says, the era of institutional adoption is upon us. Digital assets are the first genuinely new asset class in the last 150 years. It inherits the most transformative potential across finance, tech, and social after the invention of the internet, and institutions are waking up to that fact. We expect 2024 to shift up gears in institutional adoption of digital assets, and here is why. Now, here it talks about, according to this report, 250 financial institutions say that digital assets are likely to become a widely adopted investment vehicle within the next 3 to 5 years. That's an absolutely massive statement. And then as we head down here, it talks about how digital assets are set to enter traditional portfolios. Here it mentions how, according to the Digital Asset Council of Financial Professionals, 77% of financial advisors plan to recommend Bitcoin to clients if an ETF becomes approved. And then it mentions how in previous cycles, neither JPM, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, or any other major banks had Bitcoin exposure in their model portfolios, despite its unique properties and sustained performance. So for the first time ever, there's some things that you all need to understand. The foundational infrastructure able to support large financial institutional volume and liquidity is now ready and set in place for these big banks, these large financial institutions, to actually onboard themselves into this new asset class. In previous market cycles, that was not ready. So that's one thing. Another thing is you guys have to understand the baby boomers, right? And this historic shift that we're about to live through. So you guys saw the report, this new asset class, right? Currently, the baby boomer generation boasts the largest share of wealth, and the time has come for them to explore and integrate this novel investment realm into their retirement portfolios. So if you recognize this transformative trend, if you really understand Financial institutions are keenly aware that baby boomers are seeking avenues to include this asset class in their retirement funds.
Banks are coming for the boomers' money. Boomers, baby boomers, right? They own 85 to 95, arguably, percentage of the purchasing power of most economies around the world. That's not going to change for another 15 to 25 years if longevity in medicine does its thing.
Banks are positioning themselves very well, and they're aiming to guide and support baby boomers as they venture into the world of cryptocurrency. These baby boomers that have and hold the vast majority of the world's wealth are going to need a place to park their capital, going to need a place to migrate their Roth IRA or their 401k over into this digital asset space. And these banking institutions are going to be the ones, they're going to want to be the ones to provide the service for these baby boomers, and that money is coming. So just understand that we're on the verge and on the cusp of a massive moment in history where the prices that you're seeing today, they're just okay. Let me just give you guys an explanation. 2020, if you look back, you look at the charts, prices are where they were at back in 2020. Well, after this next bull market cycle, prices are never going to come back to where they are now. If you understand that, then you understand what I'm trying and attempting to say to you in a nutshell. Okay. This is the last chance. Yes, we're going to have pullbacks. Yes, we're going to have bear markets. Those are unavoidable. But just like how if the stock market crashed 90% today, it wouldn't be back to 2000 prices, the year 2000 prices. It's going to be the same thing in the digital asset space. So here this reads. If you think you're trying to look at a time frame in charts in BTC or ETH right now, you've lost the plot. No indicator or deviation really matters here. Crypto is about to become a core part of every retirement portfolio. Your charts don't matter, right? So I'm telling you all, pay attention. This is a massive, massive opportunity to experience life-changing wealth. As we scroll up here, I had a couple other highlights for you guys. Talks about the market cap they're projecting in 2025. Here you can see that they're projecting that the top for the digital asset space in 2025 will be around 49 trillion, with the overall trend line supporting a market cap of around 7 trillion. So that is huge as well, because if you look at the total market cap right now, we're sitting at about 1.4, 1.5 trillion, right? So that is over a 48x from where we are now for the entire crypto market space. Here it talks about overall in 2024, it will be a very bullish year for the cryptocurrency market, and we would generally classify it as an accumulation and buying opportunity based on our research. Still, we see some headwinds in early 2024. I personally believe that to be the case as well. Be paying attention to those things like inflation data, labor market data, right? Things that control risk on, risk off market sentiment. Be paying attention to those things. The macro conditions are continuously tightening, and there's low confidence that inflation will be under control very soon, with rate cuts not priced in before spring or summer 2024. On top of that, markets remain reluctant to acquire treasuries at current rates, implying that an average market expectation is still bearish on markets in the short term, and a correction is unlikely to occur very soon, but rather around the yield curve inversion. Thus, 2024 will be the early stage of the next bull market cycle. The only bearish catalyst that we could see in the crypto market is on the macro side, which our research suggests to only materialize as a temporal correction phase in hindsight. This might be an opportunity amidst the early bull market cycle. So with that in mind, I'd like to pause right there. Here at CYPRX, and again, this is my personal investment strategy. This is not financial advice. I have a certain amount of capital that I'm willing to implement into the market now, that I'm willing to see price fluctuations into both the ups and downsides. But then I also have some dry powder that I'm sitting on the sidelines just in case we do see a market downturn. We see the hype fade. We see some type of macro conditions start to fade off the risk on sentiment that we've seen over the past couple of months, and we see a slight pullback in the digital asset space. Now, I will just see that as a buying opportunity. Even if we saw a black swan event, again, I'm not projecting one and I'm not saying that there is going to be one, but even if we did, I would be reactive to that and I would just scoop up more discounted prices, because we all know where this market is headed long term, and that is trillions of dollars about to flood into this space. Then here it goes on to talk about, however, as indicated by the overall very bullish cycle dynamic and predictions for 2024, despite the recession risks, which will cause the crypto market to witness a temporary correction, there might be an opportunity cost linked to not being invested and exposed to the tremendous upside crypto potentially has to offer in the long run. I am completely in agreement with that statement as well. I think that the downside, albeit it's not mitigated and it still needs to be taken into consideration, it's so much less than the upside potential of missing out. Okay, so just think about that. This is a one-time opportunity for life-changing wealth. Again, not financial advice. Assess your own personal risk properly and do your research on what digital assets could potentially survive the purge of regulation. Now, here it talks about how they don't see a crypto top in 2024 unless something changes substantially on the macro end or the crypto industry factors change dramatically. Based on their research and analysis, 2024 could be a buying and hodling year before we approach the potential crypto cycle top in 2025. In summary, we view 2024 as a potentially very bullish year. Now, I'd like to pause right there. Actually, I read this one real quick and then we'll take a pause. Crypto markets will correct simultaneously and not revisit these lows again for the remainder of 2024, nor in the next bear market in 2026 and beyond. So remember what I just said to you guys, right? About how right now prices, or for the vast majority of 2023, prices were roughly around the same area that they were in back in 2020. Well, after this next bull market cycle, there's going to be so much money in this space that we're not going to see. Even if we see a market downturn in the future, we are not going to see discounted prices like we are right now. Okay, this is the last chance, people. So just take that into consideration. Now, here it talks about the market cycle top being in 2025, and it projects 49 trillion by 2025. Albeit, I'm not going to sit here and say that I agree with that or disagree with that. It would be phenomenal if we did. But again, that's just their personal projection based off of the individuals surveyed in this research. But what I do want to take your attention to is over to this Signum report. Now, do y'all remember? Because again, they're projecting the market top to be in 2025. Well, do you remember I showed you this? And this is the last thing that I'll show you before I let you all go. This was a survey conducted of over 150 financial institutions and asset managers and hedge funds. Okay, you can see that right here. And what they said in this report not only is that they are interested in the digital asset XRP, which I showed you all in a previous video breakdown, but what I want you to focus on is right here, where they say 40% of these financial institutions plan to increase their allocations within the next 6 months. So if we do see an uptick in the first half of 2024, take that into consideration that, again, based off of 2 documents now that I'm reading to you from financial institutions being surveyed, that's not going to be the top, okay? Because here it says 60% of these financial institutions surveyed plan within the next year to implement more capital into this market. So in 6 months, only 40% plan to increase allocations. And in the next year, 60% plan to increase more capital. So just take those things into consideration. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys when to pull or when not to pull profit, but don't F this up. Okay, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for life-changing wealth. And if you're involved in this space right now, in my personal opinion, you're here at the most opportune moment in history. With that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed this quick little video breakdown, reading these fundamental pieces to you guys. As always, make sure that you're doing your own research. I think that that's everything that I had to share with you all in this document. Actually, this is the last thing. We'll go over this real quick before I let you guys go. So just in case the Bitcoin ETFs don't get approved in January, don't get butthurt, they are coming. Here you can see the dates, okay, deadlines of US spot Bitcoin ETF applications. And the farthest projected deadline date is May of 2024. So even that still lines up with this report where it talks about how 40% of financial institutions within 6 months plan to increase their allocations. That still puts us in mid-2024. So even if we do see an uptick in the prices of these digital assets, remember, there's other financial institutions not in January that have deadlines for their spot Bitcoin ETFs to get approved. Here you can see one in April. That's Global X. Here, this is for Franklin Templeton to get approved in May for their deadline. Okay. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, 2024 is about to be a very interesting year. Buckle up. None of this is financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy digital assets. All I am asking you all to do is do research. If you all want access to a vast amount of research, hundreds of fundamentals, hundreds of video breakdowns that never make it to the mainstream, hundreds of links and websites, you guys can always visit CYPRXtrading.com to access our monthly Discord server. We'd love to have you on the team. Weekly Zoom calls, group chat, access to hundreds of hours of crypto-related research, and access to institutionalized delta zones for dollar cost average positions. Visit CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team in 2024. Many blessings to you guys. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe. We do appreciate the love and the support. And as always, it does help this channel grow. I will see you all in the next video breakdown.